Alright, let's get back to EQ2. Alright, let's get back to EQ2.
Hello, everybody. It's the Historical Gamer once again, and today I'm going to be talking to you about some gaming news. We do this periodically on the channel, and it's been a while since the last time.
So apparently there's going to be a new Command and Conquer game in development that's going to be releasing next year. So we are going to take a look at that and see what that's going to look like. I have high hopes for it. But with the last mobile installment of the Command and Conquer game that they launched, it was not the kind of Command and Conquer that I remember. So we will see what that is about. Just gonna load up my game here real quick.
We dove into some news. There's a couple of items I want to cover in some different videos over the coming weeks. But the first one was something that I noticed yesterday, and that is a new game which was announced. I'm not sure if it was announced yesterday on the 24th.
From former developers of Command and Conquer.
Before that, but it seems like it is very recently announced in the last couple of days. I was on Eurogamer.net, and there was an article about this upcoming game called The Great War Western Front. It's a new World War I strategy game from the developers of Command and Conquer Remastered. It was an article by Wesley and Poole. And this is interesting, to say the least. What you're watching right now is the trailer from the game, and it kind of mixes a fair bit of, I guess, art that has nothing to do with the game. You know, there's a little image there you saw earlier of, I assume, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and then some soldiers shooting each other. But then at the end of this trailer here, it also has some presumably early gameplay for this upcoming game. The game appears to be a real-time strategy game that allows you to fight through the First World War. The Steam page is up, so there's a link in the description if you're interested in checking that out. The game will cover 1914 to 1918, so basically the outbreak of the war till perhaps a little bit later if the war lasts longer. There's a really interesting dual role commander aspect to this game. The Steam page says, discover unparalleled levels of strategic choice as you step into the role of both theater commander and field commander. As theater commander, experience enthralling turn-based grand strategy as you direct the redeployment of forces.
Turn-based. I don't know how I feel about all
carefully
that.
Consider how to disseminate your resources across the Western Front in a war won by inches. Alongside this, take up the mantle of field commander in a dynamic, real-time battle as you direct units to defeat your opponent, build trenches, and perform direct assaults by sending your infantry over the top. Pick your battles and fight your way to shape the course of history. That's
I love getting knocked around like that. That's freaking amazing, dude.
Screenshots, I don't think, from what the theater commander aspect would look like, it looks like we just have some stills of the tactical map where I'm assuming the field commander stuff occurs. But the idea of giving you sort of a theater command where you can pick and choose where you're going to attack, how you're going to direct your resources. It sounds like there might be some research and development stuff, like maybe you're researching chemical weapons, tanks, things like that. The idea of mixing that sort of typical strategic game, which we've played a fair bit on this channel in games like Strategic Command, War to End All Wars by Ajod, you know, those types of games. Those generally look at the strategic level, so you get the option of doing research, you get the option of moving armies around, deciding where to fight. But then when armies collide, you kind of get a
look at that
combat experience. It's fun. The games are functionally about being a supreme commander. Whereas there are other games which have the RTS element. The one that comes to mind the most is a game called 1914 to 1918 Battle of Empires, which are fundamentally just sort of real-time tactical war games looking at World War I.
Let's go ahead and start
so the
this
idea
way.
Of giving you strategic command and also
try to gather up everything I possibly
maybe
can.
More and more games are going to try and do this, right? We've got that in Grand Tactician: The Civil War, which we've been playing a lot of on the channel. Maybe that's the direction we're going. Companies are saying, listen, we're going to go kind of like the Total War route, but maybe without the economic simulations of stuff. I don't know. I'm curious to see what comes of this. Again, this is super early. We've got like 7 or 8 screenshots that have been released. We've got this 1.5-minute trailer and just a little bit of blurb about the game. Some other information that we found out, apparently it's going to have a living world, which means that battlefields are persistent. So it's kind of, I think that's a really cool concept, is that like as the front moves back and forth, if you fight a battle in the same place as you fought previously, the damage from that previous battle is still there. So if you built trench lines and then you fight a battle there again, those trenches are still there. If there was an artillery bombardment in the previous battle, craters from that artillery bombardment are still there.
Oh, wow.
So this idea of sort of a living world, as they call it on the Steam page, is interesting, right? Like I think maybe the Close Combat 3 on the Russian front, I think I heard that had something similar. So it's not like this has never been done before, but it's still a cool feature to have included in the game. And I think it really also sort of tells something about the First World War. One of the things that you often sort of think about when you think of the First World War is these absolutely barren wastelands of shell craters, mud, trench lines, death, barbed wire, all of this stuff, as if it's just the land plowed over and turned into one giant barren wasteland, you know, almost kind of like a moon face that you kind of think about. But it wasn't always like that. The war wasn't always fought over barren wastelands. The landscape of World War I was fundamentally transformed because these front lines moved so little, because there was so much artillery that dropped on these positions, because of the trench system that was set up, the no man's land that was created, the barbed wire that was set up. Those moon surface like shots of World War I evolved over time, and so there really was this sense of transformation of the landscape. And you get a little bit of that in 1918 when there's some successful attacks from both sides that break through the trench lines and get into the rear and push 30-40 kilometers into the rear. And you see that in some of the media that covers that. I remember the A&E show a long time ago about the lost battalion, an American battalion that breaks through but then is cut off behind lines. You know, you get that they move from the trench line into a woodland where there isn't shell craters everywhere. So, you know, I think that's a really true aspect to the First World War that you don't really get in World War II outside of the urban fighting when it turned cities to just piles of rubble because things were so much more mobile. And you don't really see that in other wars as well, like the Napoleonic Wars or whatnot, because there was not the sense of permanence of these front lines the way that there was in the First World War. You get a little bit of that in siege warfare, you know, games that deal with like the American siege of Richmond and Petersburg. Maybe if you have any, I don't know that there's any games, but if you looked at the Crimean War and the siege of Sevastopol, I'm assuming you get some of that. But You know, I think that's another sort of really true aspect to the First World War that they're going to be covering. Some other sort of housekeeping. Looks like you can play as either the Allies or the Central Powers. So you have either option. The factions will have unique abilities and gameplay styles. Not really sure what that means. I mean, obviously the French in 1914 had sort of the shock tactic, Elan style of fighting. The British had the rapid firing infantrymen. The Germans kind of the very large professional force. And then later in the war, you know, the British go all in on heavier tanks. The French go with a little bit lighter tanks. And the Germans kind of lag behind on tank technology. So it'll be interesting to see how that actually plays out in the game. They claim, as many games do, there's no one playthrough is the same. The game changes each time you play it. Apparently, we'll see. I don't really know what that means. There's new military technologies that can be unlocked either earlier in the conflict or later, depending on advanced tech tree. So that could change the way the game is played, but also that does confirm what I was saying earlier about technology and sort of R&D mattering. You can have alternate history, which is cool. I'm curious to see what that looks like. It says there's 4 deep and compelling modes. Experience the unfolding saga of World War I in the campaign. Relive iconic moments with historical battles, or create your own battles in skirmish, or test the strategies against other memorable multiplayer action. Your journey through... Okay, that seems like a strangely worded sentence. Create your own battles in skirmish, or test your strategies against others in memorable multiplayer action. Okay, so I guess there's multiplayer in the game too. I'd be curious if there's co-op. That would be cool if you could do co-op on the same side. Don't see anything about co-op. It's a single player online PvP also, so maybe not. The developer is Petroglyph Games, as they mentioned in the trailer, and as I already mentioned. These are the developers who worked on the Command & Conquer remaster, so that's cool. It is being published by Frontier Foundry, which is... looks like they work with the developers quite a bit, because their list of games are all the same pretty much on the Steam page. So it's, you know, I'm excited. I'm curious to see how this will all unfold. Some other things that I'm really curious to see, the trailer makes it look like there's going to be a lot of troops involved. So again, there's not a ton that we've seen here, but the screens do look relatively big. I guess it'll be interesting to see how much you can scroll, how big the maps really are. There certainly seem to be a lot of soldiers on the map, so that's good to see. I guess, again, it'll depend on how big the map is and how zoomed out we are in some of these screenshots.
How big the map are?
But it'll be... I'm curious to see how this plays. Again, it does look like there's a fair number of soldiers. There's definitely
I need to look at and see. I want to see this Command & Conquer remaster. I don't think I've ever played
one game without machine guns.
Command & Conquer remaster.
Different tank styles. You can see some screenshots with the British Mark V or whatever it was. The German weird boxcar.
Command & Conquer remastered, one of the greatest remasters ever made. Master Collection. What video is longer here? 14 minutes. 9 minutes. We'll watch the 14-minute. Oh wait, no, I want to watch a review.
Welcome back, Commander.
It's only a 10-minute review. The fuck? We'll watch this one.
We are going to have to act if we want to live in a different world.
As Paladin's really starting to pick up. That game right there takes me back. That was one of the first PlayStation games I ever played.
The father of the real-time strategy genre has returned from the grave, and without a doubt, it is the best looking and sounding it has ever been. Command & Conquer Remastered provides such an amazing remastering experience that I am in awe of the effort.
Every time I try to get a better position
user interfaces,
and get everything in front of me, they like knock me away.
And remastered audio for Command & Conquer, now known as Command & Conquer Tiberian Dawn from the year 1995, and it also includes the same remastering for Command & Conquer Red Alert from 1996. On top of all of this, you get the expansions for each of these games, which are remastered as well. So hours and upon hours of real-time strategy history has been updated to work flawlessly on modern PCs, alongside a whole host of multiplayer skirmish and customization options. It's incredibly impressive, and the Command & Conquer Remaster flaunts its attention to detail at every chance it can, and the first standout is of course the game's visuals. Command & Conquer from 1995 was a game doing a lot on the PCs of its day, with having a lot of moving sprites on screen, destructible environments, and full motion videos for intermission briefings in the campaign. But being from the year 1995 meant that there were computing realities, putting constraints on resolution for in-game artwork, how many animation frames each unit or building had, and so on and so forth. So at times in the campaign, for example, it can be a little hard to exactly tell which unit is which when they all look very similar, especially among the infantry, or which terrain bit is impassable and which are just scenery, or where buildings begin and terrain ends among the limited color palette and definition. So the remastering has taken that art from back then and updated it using similar 2D sprite techniques and art workflow at a much higher resolution. So instead of a soldier being 10 pixels or so tall, a soldier now has so many pixels making up its sprite that you can scarcely see a pixelated or filtered edge on it when zoomed in. This extends to every part of the unit and environmental artwork in both games. And much like the other remade efforts such as Halo 2 Anniversary, you can switch between old and new art with a single press of a map
We might dive into this game.
And this switching is really awesome, as it's not 100% instantaneous. Rather, it has a linear blend between the remastered art and the old art, which makes changing the artwork on the fly less jarring, and instead almost gives this appearance of defocusing or re-resing the image. What is impressive beyond the resolution of this artwork is the fact that it stays within the same general art style and color range of the original. So nothing looks radically different in the end than the previous incarnation from 1995 or 1996. And this level of resolution definitely helps out the gameplay. We're now telling apart different pieces of terrain or different infantry units is much easier to do at a glance. So the silhouettes and the details in the sprites make the game much more readable due to the resolution. The game is also now much smoother, as sprites themselves have more individual animation frames and do not kind of stutter move across the terrain like they did in the 1995 version of the game. For all those long haul missions and multiplayer sessions, this extra level of readability and animation smoothness really makes the experience so much more enjoyable and is definitely less visually fatiguing. Then you have the full motion video sequences, which have also been remastered. Here, multiple things have been done. The original game used a codec which reduced the frame rate and color space of the videos in the game, and then had overlaid scan lines on top of the videos as well. From looking at behind the scenes footage from this remastering effort, we know that none of the pristine original copies of the film material exist. So here the devs have decided to use AI upscaling on this footage to remaster it. In general, I think this AI upscaling actually looks pretty great for the full motion video sequences.
How is this thing able to kill me,
color
man?
range and higher frame rate than the original codec. The AI upscaling's effectiveness, though, depends on the content.
Motherfucker.
I think the character close-ups in the story tend to benefit the best
don't
from the
even
upscale,
resurrect me,
as
that's
there's much
dumb.
more information on the screen for the AI scaler to work with and make it look better. Kane, for example, in this scene here just looks excellent. The offline rendered CGI video showing combat or machines or troops moving from far away tends to fare worse with the AI upscaler, where it can't do much to make the sequences look better. In fact, they just look kind of blurry. There's just not enough resolution for it to infer when things are small on screen. So some stuff looks better and some stuff just looks okay. Perhaps the developers here could implement an optional scanline filter like the original for the offline rendered cinematics parts of these FMVs, so they kind of look like low-tech filmed footage or something like that. Anything to hide their low resolution nature. Whereas the original video files could only be partially remastered, the entire UI elements surrounding these videos are completely remade at a higher resolution, maintaining that same art design. So the intermission after action report screen has an increased resolution and higher frame rate animations. Or you have the battle map between missions where you pick your next point of battle. You can see here how they lined them up perfectly and look so similar while being a much higher resolution, which was certainly not an easy task. Beyond the artwork being redone and remastered and being higher resolution, modern screen resolution and screen space real estate is taken advantage of, and this makes the user interface and game much more enjoyable to play. So instead of having multiple satellite map modes of zoom due to the low resolution of the original game, the satellite map now has enough resolution to show off the entire playing field in lavish detail without zooming. You also have the ability to zoom in and out of the battlefield in real time to get a much greater scope of the play. This is all only enabled due to the fact that the game supports such high resolutions, like 4K that I played it at. In the old game, the low resolution of the
4K.
screen also made it necessary to actively click the scroll up and scroll down buttons on the user interface to produce units and buildings from various production places like the barracks, airpads, and factories. It was cumbersome to try and multitask while producing units. In the remastering, each production type has its own tab that is hotkeyed where you can easily produce multiple units or structures simultaneously. Then there are tiny things which have a massive impact on how playable the game is. Command & Conquer was one of the first RTSs ever, basically, so
Yep.
it has some historical baggage, like the inability to queue up units in production. So each time you want to build a unit in the original game, you have to click on it and click on the UI each time. If you try and build a second one while the first one's building, it tells you to wait. I probably do not need to say how frustrating this is, or how much your hand will ache and cramp from clicking or moving the mouse constantly over to the UI production panel.
Why is he not
Yeah,
healing
it's not
me, dude?
ideal.
What the
The remastering allows you to simply queue up units from multiple production types at the same time, and it just feels amazing
lucky
in
there.
comparison. Other small things are just icing on the cake of perfection here, like the added in number indicators for assigned control groups, whereas the original just had you guess or have them stored in your brain more or less. Or how unit selection follows modern understandings, where double-clicking one unit type highlights all of that same unit type on screen. Or how you can shift-click or even shift-drag-click to add units to your currently selected ones. These things may seem small, but this level of modernization in Control puts the out-of-date and quaint games from 1995 and 1996 within the realm of playability that a modern RTS has. So a lot of things have been updated, but of course the gameplay is more or less still the same and can even show off some of the gameplay quirks of the original.
Hell yeah, I'm
so
definitely
you
thinking
will
about
definitely still see
picking that up-
harvesters doing
picking
that
that
little
up and
dance
playing that
around
game again.
refineries as new harvesters finish their collecting
I'll
and
probably
set their route
stream
home.
that.
As I say this though, some things seem to work much better than the original, like unloading troops into an APC. In the original, it was
I'm not gonna do that
painfully
till I
get
get
and
this
required
guy
you to
almost capped out or
micromanage
whatever.
each unit being added into the APC. In the new version, troops are intelligent enough to go in one at a time after you collectively command them to. And while I cannot
wanna get this
confirm
guy
it,
into raid
I also
content.
would swear that units were not going in single file lines and getting stuck on each other or the terrain as often, but that's just the way it felt. Beyond the UI, usability, and artwork tweaks, a variety of options for customization are also present in the game menus. Every single thing that you think can have a hotkey just does, and you can customize it to be whatever you want. Alongside this, you can change your in-game resolution, which supports up and beyond 4K and even support for 120 FPS or higher in my testing.
120
But still there's room for
FPS.
improvement. I did try the game at 21:9 resolutions, but the game has a black bar that comes in on the left-hand side of the screen
no.
space where you can command your troops into this black zone, but you cannot actually see what's happening there. So hopefully that can be addressed in a patch or perhaps even via user mods, because
Hopefully they
yes,
fix
this
that
game
up.
supports user mods and even released the source for the remastered code. An amazing act and one that I can only really praise from the team and EA for allowing it.
I wonder if
Speaking
they
of
made any
modifications,
mods for
the
that.
game's remastered audio is perhaps an even greater highlight than the remastered up-resolution visuals. All of the game's sound effects and voice recordings are present without the compression of the originals. So gunshots, explosions, and unit responses sound clear and not crunchy like they did back in the day.
Let's have a ride.
On top of this, The game's soundtrack returns with remade versions of the songs by series composer Frank Klepacki, joined by his band, the Tiberian Suns. Take the After Action Report music, for example. Or the iconic Hell March theme. It all just sounds excellent with that in-game music player where you can set up music to your liking while commanding and conquering. Performance-wise, there's nothing to report on here. Even with remastered visuals at 120 FPS, I was seeing 8 to 15% GPU utilization on my RTX 2080 Ti, which had to even underclock itself. On the CPU, I was seeing 20 to 40% utilization on a single CPU core while playing at 120 FPS. In my more than 10 hours of play in this collection, I did not see a single visual stutter or dropped frame rate. Based upon the utilization numbers I see here, any modern CPU or GPU combo will probably play this game at an extremely nice 60 FPS or way higher. In the end here, Command & Conquer Remastered is one of the best remastering efforts I have ever seen. It is faithful to the original where it matters the most in the core gameplay and visual and audio design, but it enhances the definition and usability to incredibly high standards. The team have achieved something here which is generally excellent even without the perspective of nostalgia.
I think
It
that
plays
would be
and looks and sounds
interesting for
great, and you
people
can
to watch
customize
that.
it to your liking. So it's an instant classic as I see it that lives up to the great name of Command & Conquer. Really, I could spend hours just extolling the greatness of the art conversion here, or the music, or the gameplay finesse. But instead of that, I will just recommend that you check it out for yourself if you can. And who knows, if enough people come to love this remastering as much as I do, perhaps other remasters are on the card from the studio. Or whole new Command & Conquer games could come
I want
to be.
a whole
Command
new
& Conquer
Command &
5
Conquer.
Tiberian Boogaloo, anyone? Perhaps in the future, but until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you are already a subscriber, then consider hitting that little bell in the corner to be informed as soon as Digital Foundry puts out a video. If you want to see more content like this in the future, support us on Patreon to get years worth of Digital Foundry content available for download. If you want to talk to me about the one true messiah that is Kane, write a comment below or follow me and Digital Foundry on Twitter. And as always, this is Alex, bidding you farewell und auf Wiedersehen.
On the 27th of September 2021, Amazon's MMORPG New World launched. It was an instant, incredible success, seeing almost 1 million players online
that's
on the
chain.
first day. The launch week saw servers filling up, hour-long queue times, and
do I want the
thriving
ability
PvP
mod
battles
or the
across the
2.2
whole map.
DPS?
New World was heralded as the savior
What's the
of the
difference?
MMO genre. Now, there are servers with 5 people currently online, many with less than 50. The daily active player base has fallen by almost 94%. The economy has been destroyed with rampant duplication, the grind increased to unbearable levels, and crafted items scale down when you equip them, making crafting essentially pointless. But how did this happen? What went wrong
Fuck is
when?
this?
And what will it take
Oh, okay.
to fix it? I'm going to explore the timeline of New
I don't
World,
wanna
from
pull that
pre-release hype to alpha and beta tests, public release, and then the absolute calamity of bugs and glitches of the following few months. So, sit back and grab a drink as we explore the incredible rise and then monumental fall of New World. As usual, a
I
huge
got my
thank you to
drink.
all the supporters on Patreon and Twitch who keep the channel alive. More on how you can support at the end. For now, let's begin. Many people have accused the MMORPG genre of being stale for many years, and a major new release would be seen by many as the shake-up the genre so desperately needed. So when Amazon Game Studios announced New World, a player-versus-player hardcore-focused MMORPG set on the magical Spanish conquistador-inspired island of Aeternum, people were excited. However, for many, the studio behind it had already lost players' trust. Back in 2018, Amazon Games cancelled Breakaway, a multiplayer brawler they announced back in 2016. Then Amazon Games had released the multiplayer shooter Crucible into open beta, then closed it, then put it into beta again before finally shutting that down too. The new Lord of the Rings MMO joint venture between Amazon Games and Tencent has also recently been confirmed as shut down. One of the few games they were able to finish and release, the Grand Tour game, a game based on the TV show starring the ex-Top Gear presenters, released to lukewarm reviews with no positive critical reviews on Metacritic, and then they pulled this from the digital shop as well. Amazon Games have a track record of cancelling products or releasing mediocre games, so when they announced New World, one of the most ambitious MMORPG projects in years, they had a lot to prove, and the eyes of the MMO world were on them. New World was originally advertised as a game focused on player-versus-player combat with territory control mechanics. The PvP would always be on, with full loot, meaning outside of the safe cities, any player could attack any other player at any time, and if you died, you would lose all of your items. In December of 2018, this full loot hardcore PvP went into closed alpha. Now, as an MMORPG content creator, one of the opinions I hear a lot is how MMOs need to focus on PvP more, and my response is hardcore player versus player simply does not have the mass appeal of the casual player versus environment gameplay. And after alpha testing, Amazon Games Studios discovered this too. They released this developer blog discussing the evolution of PvP within New World, stating how anecdotal evidence from forum posts along with the actual involvement in PvP within the game being tracked showed that players didn't enjoy being attacked all the time. The always-on PvP wasn't actually that appealing to the majority of modern casual MMO players, so they would be redesigning it and likely adding an opt-in mode where you must manually flag for PvP. If you do not flag, you'll be safe. With player versus player now optional, the game faced another problem. It simply wasn't designed for player versus environment. The game content had been designed around player-based conflict, and with only a few months until release, the developers had to scramble to create a player versus environment experience, adding in a quest, a main plot line, or dungeon bosses. This upset the PvP players who wanted a game focused entirely on them, and it worried the PvE players who knew the game wouldn't release with enough content to satisfy them. By switching focus so late in development, New World had potentially set itself up to be a disappointment to both demographics instead of a haven for one. On the 20th of August 2020, alpha testing was announced with sign-up instructions. At this point, the PvP elements of the game were still being pushed as the focus. The game boasted 3 joinable factions with player-controlled towns, allowing the controlling company to set the taxation rate of a town when players bought houses there or crafted there, or upgrade the skilling stations as they saw fit. The banking system would be limited town by town, meaning no centralized bank. You would store your items where you chose to live and need to manually carry them to another town if you wanted to move. The design was much more hardcore than most modern theme park MMOs. This was being aimed at more serious MMO players. At this point, New World was not intended to be a casual, friendly experience. The alpha testing lasted for several months, and even though all testers were under a non-disclosure agreement, questions began to surface about the game's cash shop. Despite being an alpha, it had a functional in-game shop. And on the 13th of May 2021, this tweet from the New World team explained that at launch, the in-game shop will only feature cosmetics. Notice the at launch bit. That may become relevant later. 2 days later, on the 15th, Amazon Games released a statement on the future of in-game microtransactions, stating it would be cosmetic only at launch, but they would be discussing the possibility of a battle pass system in the future, or selling temporary boosts to experience to help players catch up with combat or skilling levels. They also mention selling the ability to fast travel around the land. They state anything sold in the shop would also be obtainable via playing the game. 2 months later, on the 14th of July, the closed beta is announced, and on the 20th it begins. Information starts being gathered. The formation of player-created wikis begins, and the YouTubers with access to the beta begin theory crafting and creating guide videos. The non-disclosure agreement is lifted, and the information on the game starts to spread. On the first day of public viewing, popular streamer Annie Fuchsia is banned live on Twitch while streaming for milking a cow. The pop-up explains this is a permanent ban, with the word permanent spelled incorrectly. One day later, July 21st, a Reddit post appears discussing the starting zones. In New World, players do not choose a starting zone, instead spawning randomly on one of the game's many beaches, following a similar early game experience and eventually ending up in a settlement. This means groups of friends who started together and wanted to play together may not necessarily actually start the game together. This lack of choice in your starting zone seems extremely out of place for a social-focused MMO, especially one with so much weight behind player versus player. Starting with your friends was the plan for many people. When people discovered you had no choice and might start on opposite sides of a very hostile world, and even if you were lucky enough to spawn together, the game had no quest-sharing feature, people immediately began to feel unsatisfied. The next day, a video was posted to Reddit showing how fishing in the Windswood River would instantly crash your game. This is one of the earliest public videos showing how New World might have some questionable coding. If only we knew then how bad it was going to get. 2 days later, 24th of July, I released my first impression review, New World, a slightly above average MMO. My experience was complex. In the video, I experienced multiple character movement and combat glitches. I criticised the extremely repetitive early game questing system, being endless fetch or kill X quests. I disliked how the three factions had no real identity beyond being different colours and felt the story wasn't fleshed out enough to survive on its own merits as a PvE game, and the PvP wasn't focused enough to appeal to PvP players. It felt like the kind of game where if there weren't people running around the world making it feel alive, the world would not feel alive on its own merits. However, the graphics and sound were top quality, with the ambient lighting being some of the best I've seen and the sound design probably being the best in any MMO. I feel the game had no real identity. I didn't know what it was. I called it a solid foundation, but it clearly wasn't finished. The same day, New World tweets out about how all in-game reports are manually reviewed by a human and there will be no automatic bans.
This
it's
is
important
why
to remember this. It will be
you
relevant
gotta
later.
clear
2 days later, on the
zones
26th,
of
a
all
Reddit post titled, I like the game, but the
monsters
questing system and main
in them.
storyline are horrendous. This received
They
thousands of
have
upvotes and
the chance
hundreds
to
of
give
comments,
the
with many
most
players
epic
complaining the
shit.
quests were soulless, repetitive tasks. Even the main storyline quest sent you to several identical locations multiple times to kill multiple identical enemies to collect multiple identical items. General player consensus is the PvE aspects have been put in as filler around the PvP focus. 8 days later, the 3rd of August, a Reddit post complaining about the garish, immersion-breaking cosmetic house pet, the Rainbow Lion. New World was focused on a fantastical yet somewhat grounded age of exploration aesthetic. Players saw the inclusion of this over-the-top pet as an almost mobile game level of selling out-of-place cosmetics. Amazon Games Studios defended the Rainbow Lion being included. 3 weeks later, August 25th, the open beta is announced. It will be for all players and will start from the 9th of September. 2 weeks later, the open beta begins, and on the 10th of September, PC Games N reports the beta test hit 141,000 players in a single day and became the 5th most popular game on Steam. It seems New World was off to an extremely strong start. With the non-disclosure lifted, guides for different builds and dungeons began to flood YouTube. New World had the best possible start an MMO could ask for, a lot of players. All it had to do now was keep them. 10 days later, on the 20th, I release a follow-up video, New World, Is There Any Adventure Left? In it, I discuss how, even though New World is still in beta, it is fully documented, meaning new players already have detailed guides for everything. I explain how any video game releasing into a post-information state will likely see a wave of players speedrun the game and then complain there is no content. And Amazon Games Studios will need to put out new content at an astounding rate to keep up with player demand, although what is much more likely is they will simply increase the grind to the end game. 1 week later, on the 27th, New World goes into full public release. The game is buy once and play forever with no monthly subscription. Within only a few hours, the forums and subreddit are flooded with complaints about every aspect of the game. The enemy variation is abysmally low, being mostly human-shaped skeletons or zombies who all stagger the player on hits no matter how much armor you are wearing, resulting in extremely repetitive combat encounters. Players are still complaining about how they cannot choose their starting positions to begin the game with a pre-arranged group of friends, and how some servers are already full up and the queue to get into the game was several hours long. New World could hold 2,000 players per server, and at one point in the opening day, the queue of players waiting to log in was over double what these servers had the maximum capacity to hold in the game. Amazon Games announced they would look into getting more servers online. 2 days later, on the 29th, major gaming publications begin to pick up on the news of the queues. This would be the start of the news outlets focusing on the problems New World would go on to face over the following months. Later that day, YouTuber Asmongold released the video of the Asmongold New World launch experience. In the video, he experiences extreme queue times, multiple login issues where he is booted from the queue and then has to rejoin at the end, and then crashes multiple times while in the game. New World remains close to the top of Steam's most played chart and Twitch's most viewed chart for the following day. On the 1st of October, VG Charts publishes an article talking about how New World had over 1 million players on its first day, with the Steam charts showing a concurrent player count of just over 900,000 players. People are flocking to the game and it can be considered a success. 3 days later, on the 4th, YouTuber Kira TV releases Should You Buy This New MMORPG? He states while the graphics and sound are great, the core systems get repetitive and the gameplay feels lacking. He explains the game is unlikely in its current state to become your forever game, but it isn't costing you a forever price tag. The fact New World is buy once with no monthly subscription is one of its biggest strengths. Unfortunately, the lack of polish is beginning to show. One day after Kira's video, on the 5th, a user posted on Reddit showing how the higher tier armor set
I'm playing traditional, man.
Through their
I don't want to lock myself out of
Many more
content.
clipping issues like this would be discovered
I want to
over the
play
next
through
few
it all,
hours
you know what I mean?
players become higher level. One day later, on the 6th, I release another video, New World, Will It Last? In the video, I compare New World to the film Avatar. Avatar released to extreme financial success, but left no cultural footprint. It was visually stunning, but not deep
when
or
they launch the
complex
AA tree
fan base or
very soon, I might switch over.
I felt New World would be the same. Because of its lack of identity, I
Paladin.
could see it releasing, being enjoyed for a few short weeks or
I used
months,
to main a Zerker back in the day.
The next day, on the 7th, YouTuber Upper Echelon Games releases New World, I Am
think
Very
around
Worried. In the video, he discusses the fun
what
gameplay is actually
expansion?
somewhat shallow after a few hours of playing, and how
I can't remember what expansion actually.
Unless the absolute mountain of
yeah, I got my
issues,
Berserk up to like 80 something and then got burnt out and quit.
And quest share
But
fixed.
I think I'm gonna take this all the way.
Once the player base
that way I can get into raids, do the whole raiding thing.
2 days later, on the 9th, this Reddit post shows
be at a good place when the new X-Pack launches.
Several towns in the game are literal.
Is there lots of new players on Versus?
Settlement simply rotated. New World has been
that is a good question.
For over 5 years. The game
I can't say I would have seen a lot of new players, but there are a lot of players like toward the end game, I guess you'd say.
Stating bots can automatically ban someone with too many reports over a short period of time. Soon after that,
I can't really accurately answer that, as I started off on Versoon. I didn't see too much activity. On here, look, you can clearly see people are, people are talking in the, chat. So I don't know what how Versoon is, but there's activity on this server, so. And I googled it. I did some research to see what server would be best to start on, and most people said the most populated server was Majdal traditional. So. Okay. Antonio Bale.
The Reddit threads start to echo this sentiment because of the ability.
Is that server pretty populated?
A player without any repercussions, you are now only playing New World until a guild decides you are not. Because this is a PvP game, it has been discovered the most effective tactic to stop your enemy taking part.
Alright, let's see if I can handle these now.
Is to simply mass report them.
I had to go back and frickin' grind up some levels because this shit was way out leveled me.
And reported and quickly spreads. Before we look into what this is, we need to examine
frickin' mercenary always pulls mobs.
Discovers a glitch or a bug in the game,
you think so? Made a ogre SK.
Which involves filling
nice.
In the forum's questionnaire, explaining what
I went with Paladin mainly because everybody told me Shadow Knight, so I kind of went with the polar opposite.
That system and all reports made with it open to anyone is so monumentally dumb.
Mainly because when I play games, I don't like to play the most popular class, because then I don't feel like,
then read the steps to reproduce it and it spreads like
I don't know.
wildfire.
I just feel like I'm following everybody else, and I don't like to do that.
discovered it will take less than 24
But I heard
hours
that
before the
SKs are
entire
really,
community
really
knows about
powerful.
it. The window drag glitch was the first moment players began to suspect the New World client was client-side authoritative. In any MMORPG game, you have the server, the main company.
Got a high-level gnome whiz. How are wizards?
The client
Are they good with AoE, or are they single target?
Could affect the game code.
And is it like, it's more direct damage, right? Very fun.
The discovery of the window drag glitch and how it caused the client to
See, I started a warlock, and then I got to a point where I was wrecking everything, and then I got to a point after that where I was getting wrecked. So I'm like, you know what? Nah, maybe I should just stick with the tank. A tank type class. Good nuking single targets. Good at nuking single targets. Nice.
But if they held the window for the duration of the match, they would
one control spell, sorta.
And make the other team unable to take it. One day later, on the 18th, PC Gamer runs an article discussing the window drag glitch.
Like, what do you mean, like crowd control, like freeze or like stun or something?
Guilds preemptively mass reporting enemy generals to weaken the other side through automatic bannings, and then just dragging the window while standing on the areas to never lose points. The next day, the 19th, YouTuber Upper Echelon Games releases
chain one target to the. Oh, okay.
In this video,
Gotcha.
he discusses the mass reporting and window drag and writes in his description, New World is
Tell me,
fundamentally broken from the ground up. Entire
apart
sections of the
from
game's
the
core
fighter
loop don't
classes,
work.
right?
Client-side mechanics
Are
being
mage
exploited to a
classes
point where
able
the
to
PvE
do
is
like
completely
you
destroyed, and
see
the
how these
economy
mobs are
is
like
still
47
erased to the bottom as one of
and
the
I'm only
biggest releases
42,
in
right?
years.
Are they able to
Same
like
day,
go like
Massively
this?
OP reports on the window dragging invincibility bug. One day later, on the 20th,
Or will they get
post on
smoked?
Reddit begins to gain popularity, saying unbound gear should not take damage in your inventory. In
Like,
New
can they
World,
pull
because
mass
it's a hardcore
mobs?
game, when you die, your equipped
Or will they
items
just
take
get
durability
annihilated?
damage. When their durability drops to 0, the item becomes less effective, weapons do less damage, and armor provides less protection. However, the durability damage isn't limited to your worn items.
Probably smoke
Absolutely
'cause
any
low armor.
equipable
Ah,
item you are
gotcha.
carrying in your inventory, whether bound
Yeah, that
or
makes
unbound,
sense.
will also be
I'm
damaged.
starting to
Even
pick up
items you
gear
not equip or
that's
cannot
lower
wear. Later that day,
mitigation,
Kotaku run
but
an
gives
article
me like
discussing the deflation
a lot
crisis the game has been
more
facing. It seems New World has too
damage
many gold
modifiers.
sets, and as a result, there aren't enough coins
So I'm
in
kind
the
of
game
starting to
sustain the
sacrifice a
economy.
little
The
bit of
game
my
is full
mitigation
of
on some of
taxes.
my
You are
gear
taxed for using
for that
crafting
higher
stations in
damage
town or
output.
buying a house, then
That's kind of
maintaining
why
that
I
house.
like
You need to use
paladins and
coins to
shadow
repair
knights
items
and
and
stuff
armor and
because
place
they
buy
can
or
wear a
sell requests
variety
on
of
the
different
market
gear,
board.
you know?
Because of this,
They don't
players
have
are
to, you
choosing
know, they're
to
not
trade
locked
items
in
for
to
items,
just
not
cloth
other coins,
or
and the
leather
value
or
of a single
whatever.
coin is currently
Oh, I need to
far
go
too
sell.
high.
That's
On
what
the
I was doing.
21st, YouTuber Yong Ye releases a video
need to go
discussing
sell real
deflation
quick.
titled New World's Economy is So Broken It's Facing a Deflation Crisis. He explains how gold is so rare in the early to mid game, which is the majority of the player base currently.
There
the
aren't
economy
any
has simply stalled. A few hours later, Kira
flying
TV
mounts
releases
in
a
this
video
game, are
titled
there?
Gold Dupe, New World's
Yeah, I
latest
tried a
exploit.
frog lock
This would
paladin.
actually be an ironic but
Nice.
still broken fix to
Yeah,
the deflation
I've never
crisis,
really
because
had the
now
whole
extreme inflation is about to happen. It seems the
frog
client-side
lock,
limited authorization is exploitable with trading, and if a player to player
Like, I never
trade
really
happens,
seen frog
the
locks
player
as interesting.
giving the
Any
gold
other of the
lags
races, really.
heavily, the
I
game
always liked
registers
like
the
elves
receiving
and
player as having
shit like
gained
that.
gold, but does
Oh,
not
there are
process
flying
the
mounts?
giving player
Okay.
as having lost gold. This is reported on the forums and becomes instantly abused. Players
Is there a
trade with
city
friends,
merchant
then use
here
third-party
somewhere,
lag
maybe?
switches to lag their client out
Or is
and
that only in,
duplicate
like,
millions
cities?
of gold within the hour. Despite the economy now being utterly destroyed due to the massive influx of duplicated coins,
I want to
and
sell
Amazon's
this shit
inability to
for
seemingly track this, Amazon do not issue a rollback. The market
First
board
tomb
now
was a
becomes
wood elf
completely
ranger. I
bought
heard
out of
rangers are
most
pretty
items.
overpowered.
If you are not duplicating gold at this point, you are now months behind in wealth generation. One
Or
day
can
later,
be,
on the
rather, but
22nd,
I heard they're
this
also
video was
hard to
uploaded
play.
Reddit showing a speed bug where the great axe weapon gets stuck in a charging animation. Players have been complaining the travel was taking too long, so this is actually seen as a boon to the community. It is at this point players begin to question whether New World should have remained in beta and was ready for a full release. 3 days later, another Reddit post
Where
showing
can I
another
sell the
bug.
status
If you
gear,
cursor
man?
over
Do
an
I really
icon on
have
the
to
map,
go to
it
a
grows
city?
slightly. Then when you cursor off, it shrinks to
Don't
its
tell me.
original size, but if you flick the cursor over it quickly and don't let the shrink animation finish, it grows by a percentage 10% of its current
Not sure, it's
size,
been a
not
while.
the original size, meaning you can consistently
Gnome
increase the
Coercer.
size of map icons. This is just
How
a
are those
funny
classes?
visual
Like, are
bug,
those more
nothing
like
game-breaking
crowd
here. The
control
next day, on the
types, or
26th, Forbes runs the article, New World Burnout is setting in hard. By now, the majority of players have realised the game does not offer much variety from level 20 onwards. The PvP is still broken, the PvE is mostly fighting zombies or other humanoid-shaped creatures. The most efficient crafting method involves gathering the basic resources for hundreds of hours and making the basic items over and over again. The player base is beginning to leave once they realise the game is buggy and somewhat limited. One day later, on the 27th, a Reddit post
I don't think I
shows that
can
the user
sell this
cannot
status
appeal
gear
a ban
here, or
against them
status
because the appeal
items.
process requires you to list which server you are on, and the text box has a 4-character minimum requirement, despite the fact that some servers are only 3 letters long. Customer support tells the player to simply put zeros.
Yeah, I haven't played this game for like,
let's hope this isn't an automated system.
shit,
On
I
the
want to say a
28th,
good
another
3
period
years
of major
maybe.
Confusion and upset begins. In order to combat the gold duplication,
Single
via
target
lagging
control,
exploit, the game
rainbow
now does
colored
not
spells,
process
it's neat.
transactions when one of
Oh,
the
wow,
players
okay.
involved is seen as lagging or being offline. This works fine to stop the exploit for now, but has wider reaching implications.
I always
It
thought
is
about
important to note
trying
these
out
knee-jerk
Fury.
reaction hotfixes are being
I heard
added
they're pretty good when
directly
it
the
comes to
live
like
game,
AoE.
because
They
at
got
this
some
point,
pretty good
New
AoE
World
spells.
does not have a public test realm or test server, so nothing is being tested before it goes live.
Tell that
This
here.
updated transaction processing method temporarily destroys the game.
Alright, I think I made a full
If you,
circle.
as an online player, purchase an item listed by a player who's currently offline, you will receive the item, but they
Gotta go
will not
all the way
receive
back.
gold you have paid them. If you place a buy request for an item while you are offline and it's fulfilled, the player
Fury are
fulfilling
fun
the
too.
request will receive the
What
gold
do you
put
play
up as
normally?
payment, but
Like
you
I
will
said,
not
like what
receive the
game do I
items
play
they have
normally?
supplied you. Amazon explains this would all be resolved, and the gold or items players were waiting on were not lost forever, simply stored as a backlog, and would eventually be paid out. However, if you had a backlog linked to your account, you were unable to transfer
a lot of
servers
games.
until this was resolved, and it could
I
take
jump
several
from game to
days
game.
resolve. On the same day, the auction
You name
house
it,
was
I
thrown
probably
into
played it.
chaos.
WoW,
I released a video showing how
PoE,
the window drag
basically
needs to be used to
ARPGs
exploit PvE.
and
If you
MMORPGs,
perform a
mostly
roll,
role
which is
playing
an
games.
immunity
Like
frame
I
against
don't really
enemy
get into
attacks, and then
shooters
drag
all
the
that
window
much.
in the middle of the roll,
Maybe
the
like
server would
DayZ,
not
because
process
it
the
kind of
end
has
of
like an
roll character
RPG
status
element to
update,
it.
meaning all enemies around you, even if aggressive, would stop attacking you. because the
Survival
game server
games.
thinks you're still immune. I proved this by
Play a
having
lot
4
of single
enemies
player
attacking me,
games like
rolling, and then
Resident
window dragging and
Evil,
not losing any health, even when
Final
I focused
Fantasy
the
type
window
games.
again.
Like Resident Evil is
You can
probably the
exploit this
closest
by
game I
using a
come
heal
to
over
when it
time
comes to
spell or food
FPS
item, then roll
games.
freezing, allowing the heal over
Other
time
than
to
that,
stack
yeah,
up,
it's
and then
pretty
when
much
you refocus, it will all
MMORPGs
apply
and
at once, effectively completely healing you. This is more proof the server requires the last known state of the client.
it
to
doesn't matter
decide
which one of
how
these
to
I choose,
respond
huh?
to the player. Later that day, the crouch heal bug is also discovered and posted to Reddit. If a player places a healing aura down and then repeatedly spam crouches
we'll
while
leave that
inside
there.
it, the heal effect will happen much faster than it should.
Alright, where's
showing
that city
in-game
merchant?
status effects are, for some reason, now affected by the character's
City merchant.
standing or
Should be
crouching
over
position.
here.
This heal bug is used in PvP to hold zones indefinitely, as a player cannot be killed when receiving this much healing. The next day, on the 29th,
No, not here.
Epsilon Games releases The Future of New World is Bleak. He recaps all the bugs, crashing,
Here we go.
client issues, unbalanced PvP, deflation, inflation, and player-based drops we've seen
Word.
so far.
I just
Later
play
that
My
day, I
Little
upload
Pony,
the New World is
mostly,
even more
and
broken
Club
video where I
Penguin.
showcase possibly the worst element of the
Fair
client
enough.
we've so far discovered. It was discovered that
Definitely doesn't
chatbots
sound
in
like
New
my
World
cup
does
of tea.
not sanitize user inputs and will accept hypertext markup
Oh,
language
thank God.
or HTML
I didn't know what to say
hugely
there. Like, I
glitch
was
what
kinda
every
like,
other player
really?
can see. When a player links an item in the chat, that item is held in square brackets. The item will then have an
My Little
in-game
Pony
image
and shit.
associated with it and show the item's tooltip when the chat
Hello
box
Kitty
is
Island
hovered over.
Adventure.
But by using HTML before the item,
Magic
you can manipulate
Online?
the image it shows and the size of the image. It was as simple as typing the
Never
new
heard of
image
that.
location and stating the size of the new image before any linked item.
Oh,
We then discovered
like
we could
Magic
do
the
this with
Gathering?
possibly the best image, the sausage. New World is made in the Lumberyard engine, so by linking to ly shine UI, images, icons, items, consumables,
Arena Word. Yeah.
.dds, and
Yeah, I used to love
specifying
those
height
cards
as
back in the
anything
day.
much larger than it should be, then linking a random
I
item
actually
in the
like
chat,
those cards
the
more
item
than the
image will
Pokemon.
become a massive
But when it
sausage
came to,
visible
like,
to everyone on the
game
server. We then
Playing
discover two
Pokemon, I didn't
incredibly
really play
invasive
Pokemon. I
uses
just collected
for
the
this
cards.
glitch. By attempting to
But I
link an
played
image
Magic
which
the
did not
Gathering.
exist and setting the scale to the maximum you could,
But when
the
it
game
came to
would
like
show
the
a
Game
small
Boy
yellow
games, I
texture
played
not
the
found
fuck
square,
out of
but it
Pokemon.
wouldn't be small because we'd set it to maximum. So this yellow image would appear above a player's head and fill the entire game screen and the chat box. It would then remain in the chat box due to its
Wait,
size until
I need
you
one of
reset
those.
your game. It was simply so
Oh,
big other chat
fuck.
could not push it up fast enough. This became known
Never
as
mind.
the
That's
flashbang
gone.
glitch, and yes, you could do this in global chat and lock up everyone's chat box until they reset their game client. But the most dangerous HTML use was even simpler. If you linked an item and then preceded it with this line of code, open bracket adata equals 1, close bracket, then write any text you want and then end it with open bracket stop A, you would cause a situation where if the player hovered their cursor over the text you had written, it would cause a feedback loop which would instantly crash their
Fighter
client, because you
Grandmaster
had set the data
Recipes
variable to
Volume
1 and then ended
5.
the data variable, and with no data,
Maybe I
the
should keep
client
that.
didn't know what to do.
What am I
This means
listening
you
to?
could type, oh my god guys, check out this amazing sword
I'm
in
watching
global chat,
like
wrap this
videos
code
on
around the
like
link, and anyone who hovers over
I
it
was
would
watching a Command and
instantly
Conquer
crash.
video, but it
Reddit is flooded
changed to
with posts
this.
on the absolute state of the
Oh,
chat
basically it
box.
was
It is
talking
important
about
to note,
how
linking items in a chat box
how
is
the
not a
New
new
York
thing. This has
New
happened
World
in other
release
MMOs
was.
before, so it should have been
Like how
prepared
bad
for,
it
and
went
the
and
text
shit.
inputs from users
But
should
mainly
be
I watch this guy
sanitized
for his
inside any
worst
in-game chat
MMOs.
function. The same day, the crouch healing bug is reported on in the gaming media. All PvP wars are now
Just watching
battles
YouTube
between crouch
videos and
healing
like commenting
dragging
on them
the
and shit,
window.
just
Another
to have some
Forbes article
background stuff
appears
while I
stating
play.
New World has lost on average 135,000 players a
Because let's
week
be honest,
since
not a lot of
launch. At the
audio
time
stuff
of
goes on when
publication,
you're
this
playing this
player
game.
exodus showed no signs of stopping. One day later, on the 30th, a video is posted to Reddit showing how to enter the PvP Battleground minigame Outpost Rush before the countdown has begun, allowing a team to
So are you
start
playing
with all of its
EQ2
players
right now,
already
or-
inside on the capture points. This glitch isn't complicated. It is
We're
simply
thinking about
flying
coming back.
over the scenery. It takes
Oh, you
less than
are?
30
Okay.
seconds to do. The same day, Amazon Games releases a statement on the client and how it is not 100% client-side authoritative.
voice acting
the
is good.
information is stored on the server, but the client has limited power
What do you
to
mean?
hold or
I
delay
don't get no voice
certain bits
acting.
of data, and certain checks will not happen until the client says they can. So New World is not client-side authoritative
just started
except for
again
the times
today.
when it is.
Nice.
The next day, Reddit is flooded with posts about a new bug, the hatchet damage increase bug. It seems the ability against the odds, which is meant to be a temporary increase to your damage when surrounded by enemies, stacks and doesn't ever fall off, meaning the hatchet is now the
I
strongest
really
weapon in
hope
the game and
I
can
get my
one-hit most
consecrate
players. This
soon. I
increased
think
damage
this class
effect
is really
persists
gonna
even
pop
if you
off when I
change
do.
weapons. The only way to stop it is to die. On the opposite end of the damage spectrum, an update to the Fire Staff and the Ice Gauntlet render them completely useless. In order to combat the heal crouch bug, all AoE effects now only trigger when the player or enemy moves inside them, meaning if you stay completely still inside any area of effect damage, you just won't
Some
take any
quest
damage.
dialogue if your
Videos are
voice
posted to
volume
Reddit
is
showing
on.
how the in-game enemies also ignore AoE damage if they do
Quest
not move.
dialogue?
Remember, all of these updates are being added to the live game
Are you
with
sure?
no testing. The
I
1st
have
of
it
November
on
sees YouTuber
in
Big Fly
Varsoon
TV release
when I
Why
started
the Hell Is
there.
New World This
There was a
Broken?
lot of
In the video, he
dialogue in the
recaps
beginning,
everything from the
if
long
that's what
login
you
times
mean,
to the
but
gold
on
jukes
the
and destroyed
traditional, I
economy,
think
the
I don't
servers
think
filling
they
up and
have
then
it.
being empty, and then the crash bug linked in the chat box. The same day, I
Unless
released
it's only,
another
like,
video
certain
titled A
zones
Response
and
to the
whatnot.
Fans, explaining I don't hate the game, I'm just very disappointed.
Scout
And in the video,
Grandmaster.
I show
Should I
you
keep
another
these?
glitch. If you accept a town project quest, which requires you to collect resources, you can glitch the hand-in and keep the resources. If you place the requested items in your storage and then make a market board posting of those items from your storage, then hand the quest in, the hand-in will claim the items. But if you then go to the market board and cancel the posting you just made, you'll have all
Just
the
certain
items
quests,
returned to you.
right.
This means town
But I
project
thought
quests
most
are
of the
essentially
quests that I've been
unlimited
doing, I
golden
ain't been
experience
getting
for no
any kind
effort
of dialogue.
Once you have all of the requested items. This bug is still in the game. Amazon
Alright,
Games now makes an extremely dangerous decision. In order to combat the gold dupes, quest hand-in exploits, and try to fix the economy, they suspend all wealth transfers between players, meaning no trading directly and no using the auction
That's an
house.
upgrade.
Wealth transfer is now turned off. Any listings posted to the auction house will remain there until transfer
Little
is turned
black
back on.
box.
This will
What is
matter
this?
soon. As expected, such a sweeping change causes more unseen bugs, including the worst gold
I swear, I am the
duplication
worst
glitch
when it
yet.
comes to
Switching
picking
wealth
stuff up
transfer
and
off
never
also
looking
means
at it.
companies can't pay to start town improvement
Language of
projects,
the
but
dust.
if they tried to, a strange glitch would happen. They would attempt to start a project which cost a lot
Oh
of
shit.
gold. The
See what I
project would
mean? Like,
fail
I
and the
would have had
coins
this
would be
quest
refunded,
until
but
I
they were
ran out
never
of all my
taken
quests
in
and
the
then
first
finally
place,
looked at my
meaning
quest log
companies
and
controlling
read
towns
some of
can
them.
now start spamming projects and reach maximum
When
coin
all I had to
stacks
do was
within
just
the
look at my
hour.
inventory.
If you controlled a town, you and your entire company effectively now had access to unlimited gold, which would be usable once trading was
I
turned
think after I
back on.
finish
Reddit
this one,
is
I
now
can go
flooded
back
with
to
posts about
Paladin
this,
and
anyone
finish the
not in
one that I
company is
left
now
off
months
on.
behind. It takes less than 24 hours for PC Gamer to run an article on this titled "Players Accidentally Trigger New World's Latest Gold Dupe." The article also explains that taxes cannot be paid on company-controlled towns
Staff
and all
of the
settlements
observers.
on all servers are being downgraded as the upkeep payments are being missed. The in-game world is
Whoa.
literally crumbling away, with crafters no longer having access to the more powerful
Someone's a
higher-tier
pet
crafting
sentinel?
stations. Callum Upton releases
10
New
minutes?
World, the
Oh,
bugs
wow.
are out of control, recapping everything we know up to this point. The next day, on the 3rd, another weapon exploit is found. The temporary Great Axe buff Bloodlust is remaining
casting
on
time
permanently,
of
granting
Sentinel
players up to 30%
is 5
increased damage
seconds,
and speed.
and the
Ironically, this
reuse
is now
time
the
of the
only
spell
thing
is 1
balancing the
hour.
infinite hatchet damage bug. The game descends into Great Axe
So
versus hatchets.
it'll last for 10
5 days
minutes,
later,
and
the
I can
8th of
summon it
November,
again
players are calling
every
for
hour.
emergency server merges. The game release saw record numbers,
Okay,
so new
I grabbed
servers
that
were added,
quest.
but the state of the game was so bad the majority have now left, resulting
Alright,
in
now
many
I gotta
dead
go back
servers. Because
to
New World is PvP focus, it requires players creating
Butcher Block.
companies and interacting with the
No,
world
not
to be
Butcher
relevant.
Block.
The less populated servers
What
now
am I
have
thinking?
ghost towns, downgraded crafting stations, and PvP quests are difficult to finish.
I have to go through
I
Butcher
checked the
Block to
state of
get
the
there, don't
servers
I?
while writing this script on the 6th of December, cross-referencing the numbers from both New World Status website and the New World Database website, and I found this. The player cap per world is 2,000 people. Some worlds had 5 people online. Many of them had less than 100, and the most populated active world had 1,600.
Alright,
The
well, I'm gonna take
majority
a
of
quick
New World
break,
servers are now essentially
and I will
empty.
be
The
back
same
in
day, trading
about
is
3
turned back on,
minutes.
and companies with maxed out gold instantly buy up the majority of the auction house listings across all servers, because the listings are still the original price people listed for them a week ago. Companies are able to outfit all members with maxed level gear because gold is no longer an issue. The next day, the 9th, a public test realm is finally announced. Players will be able to test all the patches before they go live and find all the glitches before they're able to affect the live game. Unfortunately, Amazon forgot to tell players the public test realm will not actually be representative of what the next patch will actually contain, and there will be many unlisted fixes or updates added directly to the live game which were not included on the public test realm, defeating the entire purpose of even having a public test realm. The Void Gauntlet weapon is also added to the game. However, they forgot to add it to the crafting table random upgrade chance. So unlike other weapons which have a small chance of being made better with traits or abilities, the Void Gauntlet is always made as standard, and the extra attributes must be added using additional reagents, not randomly gained through luck. Meaning crafters were now at a huge disadvantage over adventurers who actually had the reagents, and the Void Gauntlet started off weaker than it should have been. The next day, the 10th, I released New World, Can They Save It? I praised the increased communication we'd received from Amazon recently, including the statement on the client, the public test realm, and the misguided but wholehearted attempt to stop the gold duping by stopping the wealth transfer. I hoped this was the start of a more open dialogue between New World and the players. However, the town project hand-in glitch, where you can refund your items by making an auction house listing from your storage, still works. 2 days later, on the 12th, YouTuber Asmongold releases my full review of New World after playing 500 hours. He praises the graphics and sound design while critiquing the lack of engaging endgame content and the excessive amount of bugs. He states the smartest AI in the game are the Buffalo. He describes the game as a good foundation, but not there yet. There are still no swimming animations despite being set on an island and your character being a sailor. On the 13th, Amazon releases a statement on the player-created minimap overlay. New World is designed to not have a minimap. Amazon Games explains the including of a minimap would be immersion-breaking and ruin the adventurous feel they were going for. They say any minimap add-on which shows resource gathering locations, enemy spawn points, item locations, or player locations may result in a ban. They want players looking at the game, not at a map. 2 days later, on the 15th, wealth transfer is disabled again when another gold trading dupe is discovered. Trading gold to a player who has no gold and then disconnecting in the trade results in the player getting gold and the original trader also keeping gold. Along with this, a trophy duplication glitch is discovered. Trophies are high-level items with intense crafting benefits and are extremely valuable. The market board is now flooded with duplicated trophies and the economy crashes again. 2 days after this, on the 17th, Kira TV releases New World, New Dupe, discussing the multiple wealth transferal stops, the trophy dupes, and the now almost irredeemably damaged economy. Money is now meaningless to high-level players, and the majority of high-level companies on still active worlds have everything they could need. The next day, on the 18th, patch 1.1 releases, titled Into the Void. This patch contains multiple bug fixes and updates, but unfortunately brings more major bugs. Patch 1.1 for some reason listed harvesting gear, equipable armor with harvesting speed and yield bonuses, as future content, meaning all harvesting gear is now removed from the game. Players who spent hundreds of hours crafting their harvesting gear sets log in and discover they are naked. Harvesting gear in your inventory or bank is also gone. Pure crafting players are now even more angry. Amazon Games apologizes and says all the harvesting gear will be restored in the next patch, but that may be some time away. The next day, on the 19th, PC Gamer publishes an article listing all the failings of patch 1.1, including the harvesting gear deletion, the hidden nerfs to some items not present in the public test realm, the lack of punishment for known bug abusers, and the economic damage caused by duplication of trophies. By now, players have discovered another major downside of patch 1.1. Experience required to reach higher levels of crafting and trade skills is now much, much higher, and this was not listed on the test server. However, if you reached maximum before the patch, you will not be reset, meaning any players who rushed to high levels and hit 200 craft skills before patch 1.1 now have a several month advantage over newer players. Training crafting to higher levels now takes tens, in some cases hundreds of hours more, and vastly more resources than before. This increased experience requirement was not included on the test realm. Players are angry because this is not new content, this is simply grind. Many players theorize Amazon Games did not expect players to level through New World as fast as they have been, so needed to find a way to slow them down. Along with this, patch 1.1 made gaining watermarks much harder. Once you reach level 60, you stop gaining levels. Instead, you increase your watermark number.
The game I'm waiting for right now is Ashes of Creation.
Score of the dropped gear or looted items you may find. This means grinding the few endgame dungeons will slowly but surely reward better and better items. Unfortunately now, with increased enemy toughness and decreased player defense of patch 1.1, playing solo is now a lot harder. On the 20th, the YouTuber Lazy Peon releases New World full review, pros and cons, which is a balanced look at what the game has to offer. Again,
I want to see that video. (2022)
gypsum within the space of like a minute, and then I can craft a gypsum ore pretty much every single day.
This dude does really good reviews.
I played the crap out of this game at launch, but like 90%
I always watch this dude's reviews to know what games to be on the lookout for.
New World's endgame back at launch just wasn't good, and if I was to explain why, this intro would drag on for 5 minutes. In April 2022, I returned to the game to see what improvements had been made, check out the latest content and meme on the game a little bit more. To my surprise though, after I made the New World KEKW video, I actually stuck around and I've been playing it somewhat consistently ever since. Back during my full review for New World, I said that I always
if it wasn't for reviewers, games would never improve.
In the sense that it was a disaster at launch, but over the years with many updates would improve to eventually be a solid MMO. Now, almost 1 year since the initial launch, New World might have actually turned a corner. For the past 2 months, the game has seen significant growth in its player base and has fully stopped bleeding players from its launch issues, plus 24% in August and plus 15% so far in September, ever since the news broke about the game's first major expansion, which is right around the corner. Brimstone Sands. This completely free expansion brings with it a massive new desert zone which is said to contain 3 zones worth of content, the highly anticipated greatsword weapon, new quests, new dungeons, a complete revamp to the new player experience, town redesigns,
Hope that wasn't
variety
too
of enemy
loud.
types, and a lot more. This is in addition to New World fixing a lot of its launch problems already.
Check that real
Adding
quick.
3v3 arena, better endgame progression, a group finder, and multiple new dungeons. In this video, we're going to talk about the new expansion, head over to the PTR to check out the revamp, and I'll hopefully help you figure out if this is a game worth giving another chance. But first, sponsor. Geralt and Yennefer from The Witcher 3 have just arrived to AFK Arena. AFK Arena is an idle
Guess that's
RPG
better.
hero collector available on Android and iOS. This is a game that I've personally been playing for about 2 years now. I've got most of the heroes in the game,
Okay.
I'm in the top 100 guild, and
Find
after
someone
trying
that
other
can
idle
tell you about the
RPGs,
little
I like
black
this one the
box.
most due to its unique art style, generous events for free-to-play players, as well as fun mini-games such as Shadow Invasions, Forest Mania, Abyssal Expedition, and Misty Valley. Right now, AFK Arena is having its biggest collab yet, this time with The Witcher 3, which means you can now recruit 2 of the most iconic characters to your roster of heroes, Geralt of Rivia and Yennefer. These 2 heroes gain additional benefits to their abilities when part of the same formation, with Geralt taking on the continuous damage warrior role, and Yennefer being a mage that can buff allies and crowd control enemies. In the past, AFK Arena has also done collabs with Assassin's Creed, Persona 5 and Overlord, all of which brought strong heroes to the game which still see constant use. Ains and Ezio, for example, have been some of my most used heroes since they were released, but with the introduction of Geralt and Yennefer, that might soon change. Click the link in the description below to play AFK Arena now, and try both Geralt and Yennefer free for 3 days, and use the promo code on screen for incredible gifts. Download now. Before we jump on the PTR and check out some of the new stuff, let me give you a quick idea of how many issues New World has fixed or is in the process of fixing over the past year. This is a picture of the cons list at the end of my full review in November 2021. This is a picture of the same cons list, but with notes for everything they've fixed since. Just
Oh wow,
look at
they
all of
fixed
the
a
stuff
lot.
they've fixed. You can pause the video here to get a good look and have a read. Out of the 32 cons I listed at the end of that review, they've already fixed or are in the process of fixing 18 of them, with a few things I'm not sure of. That's absolutely massive progress. And on top of that, they've also added the
Alright, I gotta
Tempest Hunt
find
Expedition,
5
which
more
in my
little black
opinion is one of the most visually
boxes.
impressive dungeons I've ever seen in an MMO. The Barnacles and Black Powder Expedition.
I heard a
which
lot
I
of their
loved trying
content
out. They've added 3
was repeated,
arena,
repeated stuff,
weapons, with the greatsword
like
right
the
around
layouts
corner.
and all that
They
stuff.
completely revamped the endgame progression system and added a thing called Gypsum and Expertise, which is a massive improvement over the old system. You no longer need keys to enter dungeons, you can just enter them and enjoy the game. They added a new trade skill called Music, which is a nice social activity.
I think
that brings
dungeons you
players
should have to
together
like
with the
solve
benefit of
puzzles
group
or do
votes.
like a really long
Farming is in
quest
a
to
much better
access.
place now. So what we're going to do now is head over to the PTR to check out the new level 1 to 25 leveling experience, which has been completely reworked with revamped starting towns and the addition of the Greatsword. Here we are on the New World PTR to check out the new player experience. Spawned on the beach near Monarch's Bluffs, which is apparently completely different now. I'm really looking forward to exploring it. A bunch of other players checking out the PTR as well. As we're going with Greatsword, we're piling all of our stats into strength. Wholesome chat. I just want to play the new content. I love New World. Don't we all? Since day 1 here. Feels good, man. this area is different than what I remember it. I don't remember fighting corrupted mobs on the beach back at launch. We've already got our first amulet. Straight away, the beginner quest rewards seem different than launch. Going into another corrupted area. Wait, is this a different mob type? I don't think I've ever seen a mob that looks like this before in New World. It's like a female corrupted sailor. You know the game struggled with mob diversity at launch? When as soon as you see a mob that looks different, you immediately notice it. Yo, what's that in the distance? It's a castle. That wasn't there before, was it? So it doesn't take long at all before you start to feel the effects of this new player experience. Okay, what's this? Great sword. Yes, please. That's what we want. Dude, look at it. It's so big, but it's clipping right through my shield. Goodbye, shield. You had a good run. How much damage does it do? Feels chonky. First ability, let's go with crosscut. Crosscut.
Wow.
So
the skill system looks pretty fun.
Find one of each weapon.
That's for sure.
Around on the floor from various weapon chests. So you don't have to wait a long time to start training the weapon master.
But it looks like all their weapons are like similar in like style, rather than having multiple unique looking weapon type or weapons for each type, you know?
Straight away, we're looking like an adventurer. Oh wow, if we look in the distance from here, we can see the new Monarch's Bluffs. And
like they just made one model or like 3 variations of that model and then just retextured them.
Giant castle towers. It always gives you like a sense of awe and excitement to actually.
At least in my opinion, they all look pretty similar.
This place looks so different. Before it was like a copy-paste wooden fort, but now it's an actual castle.
Alright, what do we got here? Ooh, why? Whoa! How did I get level 50 gloves? What the fuck did I do that I got level 50 gloves?
Additionally, there's also a fast travel point fairly close to where I need to go.
That's weird.
As you can see from the map, they've also added a ton of fast
But
travel
I'm not gonna
points
complain.
around
I got
the
gloves for when I hit 50. That's awesome.
walking simulator. Additionally, yes, they've also confirmed that
It gives me something to look forward to when I hit, you know what I mean, higher levels. Whereas most games, the gear that they give you, it's all the same level as what you are, so it's like they don't give you anything to really look forward to, like.
And that's level 12, absolutely blazing through the levels early on. The great sword's so fun to use that I'm just randomly killing mobs in the world because it's fun. That's how it should be. Got ourselves some green plate armor with some constitution. Starting to look a little bit more like a knight. What's this? Rumble on the docks. Objective started. Is this a random event?
Alright, I need to grab 5 little black boxes. I think they come from these things, right? Oh, these things, okay.
They've made some significant improvements.
Good, I ain't gotta worry about pulling these others.
Like a multiplayer quest that anyone in the area just automatically picks up. A moving ship in New World.
So this game did an amazing job with its graphics because back then no computer could possibly even think about pushing the graphics where I've pushed them. Like I'm basically maxed out with the graphics right now, and the game actually looks way better than what I remember it.
Really unexpected.
It's like they preemptively allowed for a lot of you know, future.
There's so many different mobs added to the
Fuck, I don't even know how to word that.
compared to what they used to be. It's nice that these supply caches and crates that you used to loot constantly for every quest.
Basically, they plan for future graphics cards and stuff.
For a bit of extra coin or some crafting resources, as it should have always been. Wait, what the fuck's going on in chat? We need to make New World great again. Are you a Democrat? Are you a Republican? What are they talking about? Do you support
This
Trump?
dude's
I'm
confused.
playing on the EU servers. What are they talking about? I can't wait.
Oh, EU talks about politics more than Americans do, for sure.
Using a great sword, including myself. Usually I play a healer in New Worlds, but I ain't healing great sword meta. No way. This thing's gonna be so OP at launch. I ain't dealing with that. It seems like I need to parkour my way inside this temple. I love the way all of these rocks are placed, so you actually need to do a bit of jumping and climbing, playing to the strengths of the game, really. Wait, I'm gonna have to navigate through lasers. Here the game's actually making me utilize the crouching and crawling system. Something it never did during the old leveling experience. Except for that one time during a dungeon called Starstone Barrows. Pridaloo Farms. Wait, what? There's a random castle here in this farming area. Well, that's certainly new. It sticks out in the environment like a sore thumb though, doesn't it? It's kind of crazy really, but this random questing area that they've added in the world is a better castle than the fortress you defend in Territory Wars. The layout of it's more interesting, it's bigger, it looks more epic.
Alright, got my 5 black boxes. Time to turn this in.
So hopefully at some point the devs also give a little bit of love to the fortresses. I remember back at launch, it always used to feel good when you'd see some iron ore in the world, because it was so hotly contested. Big bottleneck material for crafters a while ago. Deadman's Cove used to be a group grind spot, so let's see if they've actually revamped this at all. Yeah, I think so. Level 17 mobs. All of the mobs here used to be level 25 elites, and this used to be the best spot in the game for grinding weapon XP, but now it's been reworked to be just a normal low-level POI. I'm kinda glad, to be honest, because I spent hours upon hours grinding out all of my weapons to level 20 here, and I still have a little bit of PTSD over this location. This new player experience actually gives quest rewards with relevant stats on it. Like in the past, quest rewards were terrible. You would get a rapier with a completely useless stat, for example, like a rapier with focus, something that doesn't scale with the weapon at all. And this was constant throughout the old leveling experience, but seems as though they've fixed that.
Alright, I got...
fixed pretty much everything that I used to have a problem with, to be honest. Wholesome comment in the chat. Completely
I guess I don't need the rest of these black boxes.
It's nice to see a bit of positivity around New World for once.
Alright, I need to go back here. Oh no!
People just shitting on it constantly.
I'm an idiot.
Big props to
I should have known that was gonna happen.
One, not making the game
Restore items, black boxes.
Two,
Thank God for that.
game and make improvements, not just giving up on it. Defeat Sir Garwin.
Thank God for that.
Defended by knights. They've dropped fire on my head, okay. Wasn't expecting that. And finally, we've ascended to the top. And what awaits us is a boss battle. Sir Garwin. I guess this is like the climax of the main story of this zone. Once again, another unique mob. He actually has boss mechanics. Now let's finish him off. Kill him. You what? Mate, I've got to run so far, there's no way.
Alright, I gotta kill this thing.
Serious. Round 2. Do I need to smash this altar? Oh, I think I do. Maybe that's where I made the mistake the last time. I didn't break his altar. Boss dead. Collect his treasure. Just to reiterate the point I made earlier about fortresses in this game, this is a quest-related POI in the world. Big, giant, fortified castle. This is the fortress of which guilds fight over to control the entire territory. Feels a little bit weird. Maybe they should update the fortresses too. Can we kill a bison before it runs away?
Do I gotta install another one or what?
Wow.
Oh no, I gotta kill it?
Hit 900 damage as a level 18.
Or destroy it rather?
I've heard that New World is eventually planning on adding swimming, by the way. So that's another meme about this game that will soon be dead. So this is New Everfall. It looks a lot different. To be fair though, I never disliked old Everfall, but yeah, this is completely different. Every building has a different style about it. Gotta be honest, I'm not sure about New Everfall. I feel like a lot of these buildings just look incredibly out of place. If any city was fine to stay as it was, I'd say it was probably Everfall. Maybe I'm wrong though, maybe some of you guys will like it. I think the reason why it looks off is due to the scale of the buildings in here. Now you got, this is the city hall, it looks huge. This is the church.
I wonder what they're gonna call their next game. New World?
Scales off when placed next to these structures. Level 20. And with that I've unlocked 3v3 arenas. So once you get to level 25, where you would previously have the first dungeon quest, you've actually got two options now. You can take a solo quest to achieve the same result, or you can just do the dungeon and take the group option. I'm all for that. Some players don't like grouping and just want to play solo. So giving them the option, sure, why not? More options is always good. So as far as I'm aware,
Ooh, look
this
at
is
that.
the last revamped
Look at
quest.
that.
They revamped everything from level 1 to 25, but they've yet to do like 25 to 60. The devs do plan on updating the entire leveling experience, but this is what we've got so far. There's supposed to be a boss spawn here. We'll wait 5 minutes, see if he spawns. If not, we're gonna call it there for the new player questing experience, then head to the northwest to see if we can check out Brimstone Sands. No, it seems like we need to wait until the next PTR update. With the MSQ concluded for now, let's head north. Anyone who attacks me, I'm just gonna get one shot probably.
Let's take this lore and legends off. Or no?
Okay, so if you enter Brimstone Sands, that's what happens. Your health just sucks down and you're dead. I guess that's gonna do it for our PTR exploration for now. Over here on the live servers, quick look at the progress.
I'll go turn this in right now.
I've got every weapon to level 20 except the blunderbuss, so it's my goal before the next update to max this out. Quick look at the trade skills. I've got a lot of things at 200. I haven't really gotten into music yet, so that's something that I want to check out soon. Got my fishing to level 200, which took forever. Still need to max out weaponsmithing, engineering, and jewel crafting. As for my gear, I think I've got everything except for the blunderbuss to level 600 expertise. The way I've been playing New World over the past few months has been super casual. I'll log in, chop some trees, get the 3 hidden stashes from the gathering, get 3 diamond gypsum within the space of like a minute, and then I can craft a gypsum ore pretty much every single day just for opening the game, and then sometimes I'll do a bit of PvP and get a bit of gypsum that way. Just been making steady progress over a long period of time, really. Let's try and do this music thing, because I've never done it before, and I want to see.
Wow, this is like the first bad reward I've gotten.
I've got a mandolin. Although this is a 5-person song. Let's give it a try. Okay. So, it's like Guitar Hero. It's a good thing I was a big Guitar Hero fan. It's actually kind of fun. It's like the perfect skill to train whilst you're waiting for other people to arrive at the dungeon. Oh, now I'm level 1 music. Let's go. End now and collect tips. How much for a tier 5 guitar? Bloody expensive. Everyone wants to be a guitarist. Typical. Citizens of Windswood, are you ready to make art with me? I mean, it's only appropriate that we do the Windswood in. I'm going to be on the drums, though. Select difficulty. Ooh, can I put it up? Ooh, okay. Expert.
These things are 5 levels above me.
To join on the bass. It's going to be magical. 3, 2,
And I just demolished it.
Oh, this is a bit harder.
Alright, what do I gotta do here? Find 5 Steam Aether Essences.
New World. I love it. That's given me a buff. Base gathering speed increased by 75% for 60 minutes from a musical performance. I got a 5 gold tip. Let's go. Dude, that was great. I enjoyed that. Well, I know what I'm going to be spending most of my time doing whilst I'm waiting for the next New World update. The next morning. So it's a few days later on the New World PTR, and we're now finally able to make level 60 characters to check out the new Brimstone Sands zone. Ooh, hello. Oh, spawned inside of a lady. I've never actually played as a max level on the PTR before. The game's just given me access to everything. Kind of fun. Start outpost rush. Okay, definitely down for an outpost rush. Everyone's just going to be using the greatsword, but that sounds hilarious. I ain't seeing anyone without... Well, there's one guy. That's the one healer. The one hero that we need. Let's go, boys. Switch to the greatsword. Big damage. Oh. It's an absolute bloodbath. Let's wait for him to group up, and we're going to go in, and we're going to spin to win. Spin. Oh. Spin. There's a reason I don't play melee DPS in New World. That's enough outpost rush for me. Here it is. So this is the new Halloween event boss. What the hell are these things? So we need to kill these pumpkin monsters to summon the main boss. Wow, that's a cool looking boss. I don't know if we've got enough to defeat him. We can try. Oh, I need to loot these pumpkin heads. What, throw them at him? Easier said than done, really, isn't it? That did some damage. That contributed. Wait, we failed, and he's just disappeared. Lesson learned. No. The event boss, unless you're sure you've got enough people to kill it. Okay, apply the desert potion, and with that applied, we can now enter the Brimstone Sands without instantly getting ticked down to the sandstorm. Here it is, the entrance to the Brimstone Sands, the great, vast desert. Can we gather these cactus? Yes. With an axe. This thing here's a cool structure. Maybe it's a quest POI, an outdoor grind spot, or maybe even a dungeon. Wait, what? Yo, what? Does that just randomly pop up every now
That
and
was
again?
weird.
That's epic. I wonder if you can fight that later. This new zone
This
is
water looks
absolutely
pretty
massive,
cool, though.
and you don't really get a sense of the scale for the place until you've actually visited it and you're running from each of the towns. Visually, Brimstone Sands is already my favorite zone in the game.
Alright, I
love how the
gotta
buildings
pull
look, the
all
colours,
this.
the mob types. I really like that you can see this giant pyramid from pretty much anywhere in the zone, as well as these
Well,
giant
I'm gonna pull
temples
as
and
much of that as I
statues
can.
just kind of stick out. Super cool looking place visually.
Oh my god, I'm so scared.
into another
48,
part of
dude.
Brimstone
That's
Sands, and it's
6
very
levels above
cactusy.
me.
What are these little
Oh, if I
rolling
don't die here,
creatures?
dude.
They're kind of cute.
I ain't gonna die.
You skin them. Now
Oh, I'm gonna
approaching the
die.
main settlement of Brimstone
Come on.
Sands. I don't know what's
Oh
going
my
on with
god,
those
heal me,
architectures
dude.
Back there, that looks a little bit off. It's ruined any screenshot potential we've got here. Looks pretty cool. Obviously, without tons of
Oh
players
my
running
god,
around,
dude.
it feels quite lifeless.
I pulled too
Perhaps it
many.
needs more NPCs walking around. Onwards towards the pyramids to hopefully find a dungeon group. Yeah, the closer I'm getting to this pyramid, the more epic it looks. Here it is, the
Oh
entrance
my
to
god,
the
dude, no way.
to reroll to healer, as that's what I'm most experienced in this game. Okay, so this is the new dungeon. Let's see how difficult it is.
I won't be
Probably
pulling
not
that
very
many
good
this
to win
next
max
time,
skill.
that's for
Yo,
sure.
Dude just got one tapped, 100 to 0. And this is the first boss room. Okay, so the first boss is a giant scarab thing that fires lasers. Pretty cool. Probably don't want to stand in front of it, really. Watch out for these orbs that it's shooting. It's going to zap people. When he jumps up in the air, you want to be ready to do big heals. Ooh. Double laser. That was unlucky. You're a god if you can res me. Wow, what a play. Quite a fun boss,
Alright, I
really.
need...
Not too complicated, lots of movement. I quite
Did I
like
get
how
one
you've
of
got
them?
this
Yeah, I
temple
did.
peak
Okay.
overlooking everything. I guess that's
See,
where the
one
next
more,
boss is
or
gonna
4
be.
more.
Boss number 2. Is that a giant tower shield?
It's gonna be rough.
Oh God, there's some bigger mobs now. This is a tough boss. Might be one of the harder encounters I've had in this game as a healer. Nuke the boss. Oh my god, we got him. That was tough. Onwards we go. The final boss room, and what an epic boss room.
Somebody's out there on their motorcycles.
Boss mechanics, and it seems kind of complicated, but I guess we'll see. He's doing big damage. I'm gonna stand back here behind the pillar. So apparently this melee is gonna charge whoever's like furthest away. Here it is. He's gonna charge. He's gonna hit his head on that. Phase 1 down. Not bad. Let's go, team. But soon we're gonna have phase 3, where we've got to do both phase 1 and 2 at the same time. Panicking a little bit, it gets a little bit chaotic. Everyone seems to be like topped up. Live. Oh god. Oh god. How am I not dead?
Damn, that fight actually looked pretty intense.
Have we done it? No way. First try. GG. That was a good boss. Honestly, all of the bosses here were pretty good. Nice challenge as a healer. Lots of movement, cool mechanics. The mechanics weren't too complicated, they were all quite intuitive. So that was the new dungeon with Brimstone Sands. Overall, pretty impressed. This video's got to be dragging on pretty long now, so I think that's going to wrap it up for my PTR coverage. So after returning to New World for the past few months, following the recent updates and checking out the PTR, do I think
Oh, looks
now is a
interesting.
good time to return? Yes, New World has solved a lot of the issues it had back at launch.
Alright, that's enough of that. Put a couple more of these. I'm about to level up. Not the level I want to hit though. I want to hit level 44. I think that's when I get my consecrate. see what new spells I get. Alright, there's one single target. And another single target. All single target. Why do I have... Take that off. I couldn't jump. Why can't I jump? Okay, there we go. Usually when you can't jump, that means you're in combat somehow. Or maybe I was swimming. I don't know. Man, seriously. Where can I go that's safe? God damn it. Oops. Oh my god, this is getting so fucking annoying. There ain't no place to fucking chill over here. Be right back. Come in here the fucking second. You guys not trying to do. I don't give a fuck. Yes, it is. Yep. was I doing? I need to find the lost clockwork duck. Be down there. Right on the top of that boulder. Okay. There we go. Couldn't click on it at first. Oh my god, this dude always pulls shit. It's the one downside to having a mercenary, I guess. At least I kill this stuff a lot faster than what I was. Ooh, I got a pet duck. Let's go, dude. OP, I win the game. I got a fucking duck. Hey, I don't see the duck. Where's my duck? Bruh. Oh, I gotta wait for it to summon. Duh. Alright, where's this duck? Dude, there's Quacker, dude. Freaking GG. Game over. Where was that tongue at? There it is. Oh yeah, that's one thing I wanted to check. Make sure my voice options are on. I haven't heard any kind of wait, that's voice chat. I want voice chat. Voice volume is all the way up. Hmm. Why does it keep freaking marking that spot, dude? I don't want to go there no more. About to hit 44. Hopefully get consecrate. And we in business. Unless I don't get it till 50s. It's gonna suck. Let's see it in action. Alright, let's go, dude. I'm following you, dude. Where are you at? Let's go. Let's see this dude test his invention. Is there supposed to be voiceover for this? I feel like there should be. Later, dude. Dude, it keeps marking the same shit after I even take it off. Alright, I get this choose. No. Maybe that. Not that. Maybe that. Casting speed though? What do you guys think? It's either the chest piece, the leggings, or the stud. I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with the chest piece. Looks pretty cool. Definitely not that. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the chest piece. That's gonna give me over 100 more mitigation. Even though I'm gonna lose the legendary ability. Where'd it go? Huh? What? Is that for another quest I gotta do, or what? Yes.
Bright blessings.
I guess that's for the next quest. Oh no, there it is. Yo. Get that Lord Legend off. Wait, that's a repeatable. I don't think I want to do a repeatable. Do repeatables. Need to read Remy's daylog. Where's Remy's daylog at? Don't tell me I sold it. Oh no. I found Remy's daylog. I need to read Remy's daylog. You're kidding. Hey, welcome back. I'm freaking stuck, dude. I think I sold a quest item or got rid of a quest item. Yeah. Let me see. Restore items. Let's make sure I didn't like. Well, it's not there. There's no way I'd freaking sold it. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't even be a sellable item. I wouldn't assume. Oh boy. Would like me to help him find a missing agent. He was assigned to observe the Bar Kobolds. I should start my search at Camp Cobalt. Maybe it was there. Camp Cobalt? Oh no, dude. Maybe if I search for it? Nope. Camp. Nope. Oh my god. This sucks. Here's a camp. Okay, one of these camps then. Camp Ruritus. Camp Redcap. Alright, EQ2 Zam it is. Binding Fulgation. I think I did frickin' sell this thing or destroy it. Thinking I didn't need it. So I have to, what do I gotta do? Abandon the quest and redo it? Fuck. Fucking idiot. Now I gotta find the quest. Son of a bitch. Count on me to fuck some shit up. The first. Oh my god, dude, what the fuck? Related zones, related items. Now where's the quest giver? Why does it not show me the quest giver now? Try this. Nope, that didn't do it. Why didn't I copy this? Copy. There. I'm gonna figure this out now. I'll get it. I will get it. For some reason though, I have a feeling that I'm gonna have to have the quest first. I should be right on it. Oh my god. Do a barrel roll? I don't know how to do a barrel roll. Well, this is gonna get annoying real quick. Why is it not letting me copy the fucking waypoint? No, I can't skip it, dude. I got like quest ADD. Or not ADD, but OCD. Dude, what the fucking shit is this fucking shit? Dude, now where's this mob at? Oh my fucking god, dude. Plus, I think it gives me a good ass reward that I want. Fucking EQ2 Zam websites, fucking. Fuck it, looks like I'm skipping it. I can't figure out how to fucking get the quest. I don't even remember the quest name now. Fuck it. Unless... There it is. I think it's also a quest line quest, so it's gonna lead me into other quests that I might want, you know? You can't just go around skipping quests that you can't do. That's not right. It's not what a true adventurer would do, you know? He's not even fucking here, dude. You motherfuckers. Contacted GM. Yeah, right. What GMs? There ain't no GMs in this game. At least probably none that are active. Wait. Okay, here we go. Wait. This might be it right here, yo. Yep, there it is. Boom. Got it. Look at that. See? Problem solving 101, man. You just gotta be patient, not get frustrated. And the solution comes. All on her face. How's your SK going? Okay, I got that. I need to read it. I read it. I need to find a way on top of the hill near Camp Cobalt where Remy's field journal is. Callie looks sick. Why do you say it looks sick? Like it looks cool or the spells? My god, I hate pulling random shit. Yeah, I do like the spells. I like the bright yellow lightning, and then when I do my smite, that shit looks sick as fuck. Not gonna lie. Although the AoEs do feel a little weak right now, anyway. Okay, that is not what I needed. Maybe up here. Here we go. Field journal. I need to return to Watchman. Blah blah blah. Go back up here. Are you gonna do it on the traditional, or are you gonna do it on Barsoon? Fair enough. I need to search Raven Eye Spire with the negative charge NF specs. The fuck? Am I supposed to see something special here? Oh. Jesus. I'm about to get rid of this freaking mercenary, dude. What level are you? 43. About to be 44. And that's when I hope I get Consecrate or one of my other AoEs. I should be getting at least 2 to 3 more AoEs, which will make this character really freaking melt. Let's put this back on. Wait, no, I needed that. There we go.
Howdy do. Nice to see ya.
I need to discover the fate of Remy. Right? I need to discover what Remy was up to. This is a copy of the blueprints for the Mew field bot. Based on Remy's notes, it appears he was trying to turn off the friend recognition module in this bot. Remy's notes suggest that once complete, the Mew Fieldbot 3 would attack anything that came near it, including Gnome Land security forces. Wow.
Hey there.
Remy has betrayed Gnome Land security. So when I found him, he fled. He was working on this. Alright, just south of here, the path leads right to it. And there's a clockwork gnome out front. It shouldn't be too hard to find. Once there, give your news to Watchman Philippe.
Well met.
Would like me to take care of a number of Bloodhorn Minotaurs. I knew I was missing some lower level quests. Oh yeah, this will level me right here for sure. Alright, I got a new night stance and a new prayer of healing and elixir of resuscitation. Applies resurrect on termination, heals target for 100% of max health. Can this revive somebody? Yeah. Cool. $32.2 $61.6. Okay. Heal down. fucking hate these stuns. I thought I was supposed to be unrestricted. Still can't fucking move.
Well met.
Alright. Need to collect parts from 6 clockwork collectors. Release the geobots. How do I get rid of that fucking truck? Fucking click on that bitch. Doesn't do shit. Is there a way to clear it? Oh my god. Really? Dude, why does it keep putting these lore and legends up on my tracker? Stay the fuck off. Oh shit, there's a rainbow. Woo. You here? Oh my god, of course I get stuck here. Jeez. Initiate Elemental Hunter. Let's go. I feel like each zone takes like a full day to fully complete. Where did that music come from? The fuck? The fuck kind of shit this dude got floating around him? I might clear out this cave again for fun. I noticed they made an exquisite chest. At least to me, they seem more rare than what I was used to. Ooh, leather. With about the same stuff on it, pretty much. Alright, before I go turn that in, I'm gonna clear this cave out. This is a good place to farm EXP. I swear, didn't most of these AoEs not have a freaking max target limit? I think they just recently like changed that or changed that. Oh, Consecrate does not have a fucking max target limit. That's gonna suck. All right. Looks like December is when the new expansion is launching, so that gives me a month plus to get my character, to get this character caught up. I think I can do it. Dude, that freaking Cobalt hurts, man. We're only a level 45? Well, I mean, he is heroic, I guess, but still. I guess I'm able to take him now. Hell, I don't even think I need Nevis anymore. As long as I don't get too carried away with my pulls and stuff. Maybe once I get my Consecrate or one more AoE spell, I might drop my Mercenary. It's just really nice to have heals and not have to cast anything yourself. But I think that lowers your experience. Damn, I was almost expended all my mana or power on that freaking boss. Alright, let's go in here. Pull this guy too. I think about it, I think this boss used to mess my Berserker up back in the day. It just seems that it feels familiar. Doesn't really hurt all that much anymore. Just takes forever to kill. 242. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna gain casting speed, but I'm gonna lose DPS. And I'm gonna gain also a shitload of mitigation. Let's go. Let's do a freaking massive pull here. No, that wasn't too massive, but... It would be cool if those spells had splash damage. Kinda like how my auto attacks get AE. Like have a spell AE. Whew. Almost full again. But I'm almost 45. That's good. Couldn't give me an exquisite chest. Alright. Hmm. Okay. Alright. Turn this in, and then I think I'm gonna take a good break and eat some dinner. And then I might stream again in a little bit. And if not, if I don't stream again tonight, it'll be early morning tomorrow. So definitely within the next 12-ish hours, I will be streaming again. Am I in the wrong spot? What? Yeah, that's good for now. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the follows. Have a good evening, and we'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow, or maybe